Hello, Libra. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. For the supportive Oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen. There's the last name below there, so don't beat that to death. I want to do the ambivalence right off the bat. That's fun. Okay, we're going to do the face down thing again. And I think we're good. Okay, what's up with that? Okay, let's see where this is going. There's some environmental feelings here, but it's the beginning, middle, and end. It just seems not so strong. You're changing your tune. This is where this is first starting off, side. You're changing your tune on something. This is in the environment. Like it's Libra. When the balance card pops up, I find that very interesting. This one in impartiality for Libra is interesting. You'll notice it's upside down though. It's in the environment. Something is way off, way off base. And I feel like when this starts off, if you're not new to the situation, it's something that you're kind of like, whatever you've been doing, you're seeing that it's just not working. You might have a good plan, but if the other, whatever you're dealing with is just failing with it, you know, you can give somebody perfect instructions, but if they just screw it up anyway, if they have some issue, like not for nothing, if you give somebody instructions and they have a learning disability and they just can't read them, it's just not going to work. You could have the best instructions on the planet, but if they can't follow them, maybe they don't, whatever. If they can't, they can't. This is out of balance. Way out of balance. Way out of balance. And I'm getting your three cards is kind of like, all right. Whatever I'm doing is not working. You got Temperance reversed. You got the Seven of Swords reversed, and you got Impatience reversed. Temperance reversed is kind of like, it's not going to get better over time. When this is reversed, you're like, this is not going to get better. This is not going to come together. This is going to get worse the longer it goes. Impatience reversed is kind of like, I'm just going to have to start picking up the pieces. I don't even know where this is going, let alone, like, it's kind of like, there's nothing to be impatient about, is kind of how I feel. It's kind of like, it's not going right. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but something has to change. Something has to change. Then you have the Seven of Swords reversed, kind of like, we got to reduce the stress here. It's almost partially it's kind of like, this isn't my doing. Like, it's not your doing that it's this far out of whack. And it's kind of like, I can try to fix this. I've tried to fix this. I feel for a lot of you, you've tried to fix this, but you're like, it's not on me that it's this screwed up. It's not my fault. I'm being ignored, or my directions aren't being followed correctly, something like that. So it's kind of like you're changing the way you're handling this situation right off the bat. It's not going to get better. And the Impatience reversed is really intriguing to me, because it's kind of like, it really does need to be fixed as quickly as it can, but that's not an option. It's just kind of like, you're just like, this is so screwed up, I'm not even sure where to start, let alone, there's nothing to be impatient about, in the sense of like, it's just so screwed up, it just has to be corrected, but figuring out where to start is the first challenge. Like, I don't know how to explain this. It's kind of like somebody who wants to be a race car driver, but they broke their legs, then they don't have a license. You're like, well, wait a minute. You can't be impatient. You're going to have to heal first, and then you have to learn to drive, and then maybe you can become a race car driver, but there's just so much here to do before that's even a possibility. It's kind of like impatience isn't really an option. I don't know how to explain that. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to let it go because I feel like I'm drowning on it. Now, whatever's going on here, like, whoever's doing, like, the imbalance is bad. The imbalance is bad. It's so painfully obvious that other people are having to step in, is what I'm getting. Other people have to assist. It's so far out of balance. So far out of balance. Discovery makes me feel like other people are stepping in, other people have to help. Okay. When other people step in, it does start to get better. Other people are trying to find out what's going on. It's almost like, I mean, learning disabilities, that's nobody really chooses those, they just happen, right? And it's almost like other people are seeing this and figuring it out. They're finding other ways to show this person how to do things. They're either teaching them how to handle their learning disability, or they're delivering the information in a way that they can follow a lot easier. This is probably information you didn't know about, because I feel like, and I know some people like this, like they'll sometimes downplay their disability, or they won't let people know about it because they don't want people using it against them. So it might be one of those situations, which I kind of understand it's not right, but it's almost like, you know, people are the way people are, and the world is the way the world is. So, you know, you got to handle things with your best judgment. This person, I feel like they're getting in balance. It's starting to come around. It's dissipating. Other people are helping. Okay. It needs to change anyway. It needs to change. Okay. Just because things are getting better, I don't feel like that puts anything, it doesn't stabilize it. It is getting better, but it's not stabilized. It's not solidified. I was going to say solidified, stabilized, solidified, same difference. It's not set in stone. And I'm getting the Hierophant for you reversed, in the sense of like, the Hierophant usually is like about tradition, contract, you put in the work and you get the reward, right? So the reverse of this is kind of like, there's no structure to hold on to. And that's kind of what I'm feeling. There's like, things are getting better, but there's no structure to hold on to. And I feel like you're having a little bit of a hard time with this. Kind of like, all right, other people are fixing things. Things are going a lot better now. I actually feel like your information is playing in. Like, previous information you've added to the situation is playing into the situation, right? But at this point, you're like, but why? And you're like, and for how long? You don't have a structure to hold on to, because you're like, without a structure to know what to do with, without really finding like, this plus this equals that, you're like, it's just kind of like things are forming correctly, but is it really dependable? You're not convinced yet. You're smart to not be convinced yet. The Moon card is in the environment, kind of like, things are still kind of forming. People still don't know if this is going to fly right or not. There's a big problem here. The Moon card is kind of like, people are still trying to sort it out. It's doing a lot better. It seems to be stabilizing, but it's not stable. It's not solidified. It's going a lot better than it has been for a while, but there's still a lot of questions. There's people trying to figure out what's going on. Perception is being formed, is what I'm getting. I feel like other people are trying to get in a little deeper. Like, okay, this wasn't going right before. Why is it going right now? And why was it not going right before this? Like, what did we change? And why wasn't this change implemented previous to this moment? Like, people are really trying to like drill it down. Like, how did this get so far out of balance? They're looking for the answers. I feel like you're probably one of the people looking for these answers. Either because you're supposed to, or because you're like, I gotta know, because this is really whacked out. This is a hard situation, is what I'm getting. Because the energy that went out of balance, they weren't trying to. It's just something went out of, just they couldn't hold on. And it's finding out the answers about why that was so hard and why it got there. And I feel like you're taking a hard look at it, is what I think I'm going for. All right, I'll be honest. I feel like you're taking a very critical look at it. Not to be mean, but it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense to you why things were really far out of whack, and you're kind of like, did you purposely screw this up? You're not trying to be negative, but you're a little annoyed. Like, everything was there for this to go right. Why did it go wrong? And you're a little annoyed. Like, it shouldn't have gone that far out of balance. It never should have gotten that far. You're feeling like you either were ignored or not listened to or something. before this, and you're like, if you just listened to me, it would never have gotten that bad. And you're a little annoyed, you know, and you might be a little hard on the situation, but you don't realize these details if that's the case. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, of course. You're like, what's the deal? What is the deal? I don't think you're going to be that mean, but you're not really impressed. You're like, it never should have. If you listened to me to begin with, it never would have got like this anyway. That's the kind of energy I feel like is coming on your side. I don't want to say you're starting any argument. You might just feel that way, and that might be how you're going about digging, trying to dig through all this, trying to find out, like, well, why didn't you listen to me? Why didn't you just follow my instructions? We're going to let it go. Okay, that's a very, very dominant energy, by the way. Like, you need answers. Why didn't you just work with me to start with? It didn't have to get this bad. That's kind of how I feel about it. That's the energy I'm feeling from the Libra side. Okay. Answers seem to be coming. Satisfaction is also coming with these answers. For example, you gave out great instructions. They were so easy, precise. They were all there. You did diagrams, the whole deal. But I feel like it might be a situation, for example, if you did that, this person has dyslexia and it maybe got a little out of control. There were certain things going on there that they didn't realize that they did this or did that. Now the truth is coming forward. Things are getting in line. Everybody knows what's happening. Everything is cool. The joy card pops up. The joy card pops up. Because you're getting the answers and you're getting satisfactory answers like, oh, so you did try to find my try to follow you did try to follow my instructions. I'm jumping back and forth between the word instructions and rules. So you tried to follow my rules, my outline, my instructions. Instructions doesn't really fit. Rules, guidelines, something. There's something I want to say. Like, I gave you a model. I told you what to do. I gave you I told you how to make success and you ignored me, but okay, that's what happened. Oh, that's what happened. Like, I feel like it makes sense. For some of you, you're seeing that your instructions were being followed, but then somebody else got in the way or somebody else took over. That could be another thing here. Like, somebody else took it over, decided they knew better, and screwed it up that way. And then they had to pick up the pieces and try to fix it, or just they had no choice. They had to just keep going down the same line. You're getting the answers you need. Let's just leave it at that. And you're getting satisfactory answers to where somebody you thought was just screwing up, they weren't. There's a legitimate reason why things went out of balance. So the joy is here. You're getting happy. You're happy with that ending for that. Here's the actual ending. Okay. I don't know if this is good or not. Let's see. They're like all but one of the tarot cards are upside down. Okay. Because you know we just got to give the information the way it's there because there's something you're going to get out of it if this really hits. This is not solved. You're going to hit this good moment thinking it's solved. This is not solved. I'm sorry, it's not. They're trying to give you a heads up. This is not solved. It's gonna backslide. You need to remember what happened with this time, and you need to catch it before it falls too far. Because what I'm getting is you're gonna find out, you're gonna get very unhappy because people are gonna stop doing what they're supposed to doing. They got the King of Cups reversed, or King of Coins reversed, the Six of Swords reversed. It's people are falling back into old habits. So whatever happened here to fix it is going to be abandoned. Be aware of that. Because I feel like it's kind of like you're going to think, well, it's going so much better now. Obviously, that's how we're all going to do it from now on. No, it's going to backslide. It's going to fall back into bad habits. Especially with the Six of Swords reversed, it's not walking away from bad habits. It's returning to them, is what I'm feeling. And the King of Coins is kind of like, because it's rote routine, that's what they're used to. It's almost like they're following somebody else's directions because it's easier and it's less stress. Sort of. Just because they have to deal with them face to face or something. They're saying fix this before it gets back this far. Prayer is here, but I feel like when this comes in, it's kind of like pay attention, try to work it out. Don't let it get that far. Don't let it get to this point where it falls so far out of balance that you're going to be very unhappy again. You're going to have the Knight of Cups reversed. You're going to have the Page of Wands reversed. Kind of like, it doesn't matter what we do. It always goes back to the same spot. The Knight of Swords is kind of feeling like regret, like, why did I even try? Why did I even bother? Because it just went right back to where it was. I feel like the prayer card is trumping this, saying, don't let it get back this far. It doesn't have to get back that far. Keep people in line. Keep people in the know. People who helped you get this back under control or were implemented to get this back under control. If you can keep them involved, keep them involved. Keep an eye on this situation. Like if you were going to spot check it like every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe you should spot check it every 2 to 3 days if you really want to keep the success here, because it doesn't have to fall that far back. It's going to regress a little bit. There's going to be a kind of a struggle to keep it from completely regressing. It doesn't have to regress. It will if you don't if you don't police it. I'm sorry, but I feel like that's the only way around this. They're saying it doesn't have to go there. Feeling like it's solved itself and everything is good from that point. It's nice to have that optimism, but they're saying it's not the truth. It will completely backslide. If you keep an eye on it and you keep more of a diligent eye on it, and keep the people who helped you keep it under, or keep the people who helped you get under control close to you, I don't feel like it has to do that. But that's why if this reading is hitting for you, that's why. They're saying you gotta watch it closer, much closer. Like, you gotta amp up that volume. Gotta keep your eye on it because it will backslide. It doesn't have to, but it will. Have I beat it to death enough yet? Probably not. All right, I think that's good. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.